Not just yet. They're still in various stages of uncomfort, is probably what I would say, is because of these big tummies. And they are probably in a situation where they don't really want to walk. But one lioness has walked off, and so some of the others are just having a little groom and just trying to kind of get themselves nice and clean. And they do this after a carcass or eating because they get covered in blood, and so it's good just to keep themselves clean and to make sure that they keep their coat in good condition. But amazing how big the sub-adults are getting. And talking about sort of sub-adults and the sort of makeup of the pride, Conrad, the young cub, unfortunately, we think is no longer with us anymore. We think, unfortunately, it has been either, well, in all likelihood, killed. And so either by hyena or the Avoca males. It disappeared around the time the Avoca males came in. And so we're not 100% sure who is responsible, but they were, well, the little cub has not been seen in almost 3 weeks. And so in a pride like this, if it hasn't been seen in 3 weeks, then you're probably a situation where it's no longer with us anymore, which is very, very sad. But it is bound to happen with these new males about and with lots of hyenas around in one little cub. And don't forget, it was this lioness's first litter, and it's often the case when these guys have their first litter that they're not as successful. You know, they learn a lot from when they lose their first litter, and so, you know, she'll bounce back and probably be ready to go into estrus already in the next probably 3 weeks or so. So it's going to be interesting to see what happens with her, because she's going to cause a bit of an issue with the pride, because the rest of the pride will not want to go towards the Avoca males, but you never know. Maybe she does, but given that she would want to probably mate with all the males around here. And there she goes. She's actually just stood up now and is walking off, and you can see that her teats area is no longer producing milk. So it's this female on the far right that hopefully will come into shot fairly shortly. Ooh, I love it when they do that, when they walk and when they just flop down. No, it's fine, don't stress. So Seb's saying, sorry, it was on the wrong one, but that's the lioness we're talking about. You can see she's no longer producing milk at all, and the hair is starting to grow back, and so that little cub was still at the stage where it would have been suckling, which means that it is in all likelihood not here anymore. So she's no longer kind of having that milk production, and they stop that pretty quickly after they lose a cub. So Karen, in terms of the sub-adults, it's easy to tell how old they are because we know exactly when they were born. As for the females, well, it's plus minus in terms of how old they are, and you know, we don't know exactly because we haven't documented the Nkuhuma pride that well for the past sort of 10 years, and so some of these lionesses we think were born around 2012, 2010, some of them and that was a period when we weren't actually driving at Nkuhuma, and so it's difficult to know exactly how old some of the adults are, but we guess and we surmise that certain ages, given cubs that were born, and you know, there's a lot of people that have really helped us with spot patterns and that, and to try to work out how old everybody is. But the sub-adults is really easy because we know their dates of birth, and we know when they were actually produced, so that makes life a lot easier. But you can see everybody is slowly but surely getting up and meandering off into the grass. I wonder if because they know the sun's getting up and that it's time to now actually go and find a shady thicket to go and lie down in before the sun does break through the clouds and really warm them up. And there goes our little boy. Look, he's starting to get his mane and his fluff around his chest and his head. So a little mohawk is going to start developing, and he's about as full as possibly could be, and I'm not surprised. He was full the other day, and it seems as though he really gets stuck in when it's carcass time, but getting big and looking strong. And it's amazing what a meal can do for a pride of lions. They go from looking like they're really struggling a little bit to this, where they're looking absolutely fantastic and full and healthy and back to their normal selves. It's incredible what one meal does to a pride of lions. It always amazes me how they can turn from, you know, being quite skinny and looking a little bit dire to looking absolute beast mode by eating a carcass. So very, very cool. And I didn't think we would actually get them moving too much this morning, but nice to see that they are starting to get up and kind of move. And I wonder where they're going to go. Maybe they're going to go down into the drainage line. So Magical, the cubs are pretty much only safe during a coalition takeover when they're able to hunt for themselves, which generally you'll find is over 2 years old. The thing is, though, is that females, unfortunately, if they're not ready to come into estrus yet, are often deemed as cubs from the previous litter and will then try and kind of been attacked. But it's obviously a difficult thing to kind of kind of work out, because some little ones get away with, and it depends on the males, some little ones get away with a lot and others get away with nothing, and then the males kill them. So it depends on the coalition, depends on a number of different factors, but generally if they can make 2 years old, they can normally kind of hunt for themselves a little bit and be able to sort themselves out. But I think the rest are going to get up and go. I'm trying to watch to see if they've gone to drink, but none of them are drinking. I think they've all dropped down into the riverbed and maybe towards the Mulawati drainage. It's 2 of the older females that are left at the moment, so we'll see if they're going to.
I think they're actually lying down.
Oh, they're lying down. So maybe oh, there we go. They are lying down. So they've just moved off towards a thicket. That's all, and they've decided to plop themselves down on the edge of the pan instead. I'm sure we'll get them to drink at some. Well, not get them to drink, but I'm sure that we will get them drinking at some point. And this morning, when they're full like this, they often do require water, and so we might see them kind of going down for a bit of water a little bit later. We're just going to be quite patient, but nice to see them anyway. Either way, it's a great start for our day. It is a cat day after all, and so we might as well start with the whole of the Nkuhuma bride. Hello, girl. So Amber Eyes, that is looking and having a bit of a stare down the road. And funny enough, we're not very far at all from where Hosana and Hukumuri were having their little standoff yesterday. So we are pretty much, I would say, about 300 meters from that area. So hopefully Hosana got out of here. Now I see a whole bunch of impalas running in the background, and there were reports of wild dogs somewhere on Torchwood. So I wonder if maybe, just maybe, the dogs are going to arrive. Can you imagine the chaos that will ensue if dogs run past here? Lions and dogs are not at all friends. Anyway, we're going to sit with our pride a little longer. Obviously, we'll try and see what they get up to. I don't think they're going to get up to too much, given how full they are. But while we do that, let's